Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. First, I'm going to apologize if I look like I have huge bags under my eyes. I had the worst allergy attack last night. This happens once in a blue moon where I get these horrible allergy attacks and my eyes get very itchy and then I don't stop itching them and then my eyes get swollen. So I went to bed with like legitimately swollen eyes last night and they look a lot better now than they did before. But yes, it's not that I'm too tired or didn't get enough sleep or I'm doing some crazy drugs. It's just that my allergies hate me sometimes. Today I am finally wrapping up the first book of our book club. First of all, I want to thank everyone who joined me in this. It was really fun to kind of like put it together. And I think as we continue, we'll probably like finesse the process, maybe add in something, take something out, I don't know. But for everyone who joined me in reading Bob Iger's A Ride of a Lifetime, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. It was really fun to have the discussion in the Discord channel and to start the Discord channel, which really started because of this. Now has turned into something even bigger, which is awesome. So if you want to join the Discord first and foremost and meet everybody who watches this channel, you can click on the link below and join. My husband Peter joined and literally in the first 5 minutes said to me, oh my God, all the people in your Discord are so nice, because everyone was welcoming him. They didn't even know that it was my husband, but he was just so shocked by how nice everyone was, and that was the first thing he said to me. So it's such a good community. I encourage you to check it out. Second, if you did read the book along with me, I know some of you are looking to record your own reviews, and I would really love that. I want to make a playlist of everybody's reviews from the book club. So please, when that happens, if that happens this week, shoot me a link. You can tweet it to me. You can leave it down below. You can send it over the Discord. I want to make sure I watch all of your reviews and make sure I get them all on a playlist, and I appreciate everyone who's participating in that way. And the third thing is that I have this copy of this book now, right? And I'm not one to hold on to books forever. That's just not my jam. So there is a giveaway, and I will likely be doing this for future book club books as well, but I would love to send the book to someone who didn't get a chance to read it yet, or maybe you did, but you know someone else who would enjoy a hard copy of it. So if you want to enter, it's really simple. You just gotta do two things. One, you have to be a subscriber, so if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. I guarantee you, you will not regret it. I don't overdo videos, I don't bombard you with things. I promise it'll be a good time. And two, you have to leave me a comment below. Why do you want to read this book? And if it's not for you and it's for someone else, who are you gonna give this book to? That's it, simple as that. Be a subscriber, leave me a comment. That's it, you can win the book. Winners will be chosen on Friday of this week. I will make sure to announce it through my various channels, Twitter, the YouTube community tab, Discord, so you'll know if you won. But now let's jump into the full review. So I just finished the book literally like 2 days ago, so it's fresh in my mind, and I have some thoughts. So first of all, I think I went into this a little confused about what it was going to be. Now, when I first thought about buying this book, I said, okay, this is his memoir. But then you start the book and he says, this is not my memoir, this is a book on leadership. Yet, reading through the whole book, it felt 80% memoir, 20% book on leadership. He does reference like principles of leadership that he's learned throughout his tenure through ABC and on, and he does this kind of weird thing at the end where he bullet points all of them and almost like recaps them all in this final chapter, and it's basically kind of redundant because it is saying all the things he said prior. I guess it's kind of like, hey, if you forgot the lesson I was trying to teach you in chapter 1, here it is. But it's kind of a lot, and it almost feels like he did that last section to be like, hey, look, this is a book on leadership, here's all the points I was trying to teach. But it really does feel like a memoir. So if that's what you think it is going into it, don't be fooled by him saying it's not, because it definitely feels like it is. He doesn't go nearly as in depth about personal life. It's really about him in the business of Disney. So it's not that fleshed out of a memoir, but I would say it definitely is one. So I don't know, Bob, I kind of disagree with you and how you actually pivoted your own book. My second thought was, I think he could have used a better editor, and I say this not in the way of any typos or issues like that. It's well written. I didn't see any glaring problems. It's more that there are certain things that he does when he's referencing people that is a little confusing. Sometimes he'll reference someone by a full name, by a last name, and then by just their first name. It's a little confusing when we're talking about multiple Michaels at one point. I think just having some consistency in how other people were referenced in the book would have been helpful. Just things like that that were a little bit confusing. Now, he starts with when he began at ABC prior to it being owned by Disney, all the way up to his current run as CEO into Disney Plus. Disney Plus and Avengers Endgame is pretty much the time where he wraps up this book. So that's like the last part of it, which is actually pretty recent considering Disney Plus launches today. I found the most interesting bits for me were the stuff that I didn't know. So I knew a lot about Pixar and the whole issue with Steve Jobs and the falling out and the coming back together. So that chapter, while very interesting, was a lot of stuff that I knew already. And I did know quite a bit about the Star Wars acquisition as well. So again, nothing new for me. But the things I thought were really interesting, I actually really liked reading about his start in ABC before Disney was even involved. I think that it was really interesting to see things from his standpoint and how he learned to be in this business, and his viewpoint of the ABC Disney merger, and him working with Michael Eisner and being very honest about his relationship with him, which sometimes had highs and sometimes had lows. And that was all really interesting to me because it was seeing it from a very personal perspective and seeing Eisner from a personal perspective. I think Eisner is a very polarizing ex-CEO. He did amazing things for the parks and for the movies, but then also kind of failed in some ways towards the end of his tenure and did let a little bit of his ego get to him. So I feel like people have very mixed feelings about him, or, you know, feel strongly one way or the other. But it was interesting to hear from Iger and what he learned from him and the faults he saw in what he did and how he learned to avoid that when he became CEO. And then lastly, him talking about Disney Plus and how they're actually taking a financial hit for doing Disney Plus because they are putting all of this money into the platform and to new shows and to these new movies that are coming out for the platform. And so they're investing a lot of money before they're going to be making the money, which makes a lot of sense when you think about how much they're pushing Disney Plus, right? I got to sign up for a 3-year deal at D23. Verizon is giving away a free first year. There are deals all over the place because they're really trying to up their subscriber numbers, I think, to make up the gap of what they've been spending on the platform. Now, some of the negatives, like I said, I think that he was a little confusing when he's referencing different players and different people throughout the book, so that can be a little bit tricky. I also sometimes wish that when he would say something about like, oh, there was things that I disagreed with Eisner on or Steve Jobs on or whatever, he actually went more into detail. I understand again that, you know, I think you can go into a million different stories in detail and this would be like a 500-page book, but I just want a little bit more specific anecdotes of things like that. However, I otherwise can say that I do really appreciate how honest he was. Like, he was very close with Steve Jobs as a friend, but also was super honest about how he didn't really get some of the things that Disney was doing. He said Iron Man 2 was a terrible movie. Iger toured him around Art of Animation Resort and he said he didn't get it. He thought it was terrible. I mean, Steve Jobs was kind of notoriously an ornery guy, a genius, but definitely not the most approachable, I think, person. And I like that he was honest about it. Like he said, like, we were very close. I'm surprised that I made such a great friendship later on in my life. But he was also really honest about how Steve Jobs could be very critical. And he was honest about how Eisner can sometimes let ego get to him. And he was honest about the situation with Roy Disney and trying to come back from that. So I appreciate that he didn't hold back too much on those sorts of things. And of course, I think actually the best part of the entire book is the beginning, where he's very honest about what happened during the Pulse shooting and the tragedy of the child who died due to the alligator attack on property, both things happening in a very short time period while he wasn't even in the country. And it was a really good way of opening the book and letting you empathize with him as a human being. Because I think a lot of the times we just see these names and these people who run these companies and we don't really think about them as a person. Overall, I thought it was a good book. It's not It's not the easiest read. It wasn't like a I can't put it down kind of book. It definitely was a little bit of a slog for me. There were moments where I put it down for like over a week before I would pick it back up again. But there were certain aspects that were super, super interesting. It was interesting on the Discord that some people felt mixed about what was the more boring part and what was the more exciting part. Some people liked the original stuff pre-Disney and found the Disney stuff boring because they knew it all. And some people didn't care about ABC and found the Disney stuff interesting because that's what they got the book for. So I think there's something there for everyone, but it definitely wasn't like, I don't know, the most entertaining read in the world either. I think though, as a Disney fan, you would be interested. Like if you really like Disney and you want to hear the business side of things, I would pick it up for sure. So I'm going to be rating books on a letter scale, you know, A+ being amazing, F being a complete failure. I would say that this book is a solid B+. I think it is great if you're interested in the background of certain things and the mergers. I mean, each merger has its own chapter. You're not going to get any sort of crazy revelations, but you might find it really interesting to hear about these certain big business changes from somebody who's very close to these decisions. So that's my review. Again, if you were in the book club and you're recording your own review, please let me know. Leave it down below. Give me a link. Let everyone see it. We're going to put a playlist up of everybody's reviews. And if you want to enter to win my copy of the book, all you got to do is subscribe and then tell me why you want to read it or who you're giving it to read. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe. I make videos every single week. We're going to take a couple weeks break until the next book, and we're going to vote on what the next book is going to be, and that's going to happen on the Discord channel. So again, if you want to be really involved in the book club, that's where you should go. We're going to be running a lot of that kind of stuff on there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.